This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
It's time for Off the Break Podcast, your podcast dedicated to current movie theater news, operations, and insights from the people that book the movies. I'm Cody, and with me are Kyle and Ken.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm
Was
ready.
I supposed to say hello after you said hello?
Yeah.
I'm just ready to go.
Are you? I feel like I'm more rearing than you.
Oof, let's see.
Yeah,
It's the-
that's weird.
It's definitely a Mountain Dew. Kyle and I are sporting the dews today.
Sponsor us, Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Damn it.
The healthiest drink.
Gets all this fun podcast energy.
Our next segment, do's or don'ts.
Movie theater do's and don'ts. Mountain Dew, come on.
I know.
Someone reach out to them for us.
Well, we have a relatively short podcast this week. We are going to be off next week on vacation time for Ken and I. Kyle is going to hold down the fort here by himself.
Yes, and that means no podcast with just me, so...
Well, I mean, you could if you really wanted to. I will
don't
give you
really want
permission to podcast it by yourself.
I don't think people will ever listen to that episode, so I think I'll just take the break and call it good.
Be a little weird, huh?
Just a bit.
Just bring in the old lady and have her tell everyone how weird you are. For 30
Yeah,
minutes.
you should bring your girlfriend in and you guys can talk like your first movie date and all the fun movies you've taken her to. And yeah, that might be a good one.
I just think people have already figured out that I am weird just from how many episodes we've done, so they're like, we've heard enough. It's fine.
Heard enough.
We
but
get
this
it.
is like a new person. You could show her the not done yet podcast studio.
I've showed her a picture and she's like, wow, cool.
Yeah, Kyle in his head is saying, "We've tipped that cow already, Cody. Let's keep moving."
Okay, fine. We'll keep moving.
It's not a podcast unless Kyle turns red.
I know.
Thanks a lot, guys.
we gotta add one little marital spat in here, and then the circle will be complete for Kyle.
It's not an episode
Yeah,
until we mark all those check boxes.
yeah.
If you put the toilet seat down one more time, I swear.
Me?
Yes.
If I put it down,
Yes.
If you don't put it down,
Yeah.
what are you teaching our sons?
Outrageous.
It is
All right.
outrageous.
We
your
got that out of the
behavior.
way.
Good, we got it out of the way. This might be good for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it out okay.
Well, let's get into upcoming release changes. We actually have some this week. All good things so far. I'm not sure if we mentioned it last week, but Sony unveiled the horror film Unholy for Easter weekend.
The Unholy.
The Unholy. Careful who you pray to, or I can't remember the tagline. It's something like that.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
April 2nd. It is going. They're going 1,600 prints on it. So if you are interested in a scary horror film about the Virgin Mary, then
Gone wrong?
yeah. Then please get your bookings in now.
All 2 days before
Nailed it.
one of the holiest days for Christians.
Yeah,
So this was an interesting
Have fun
choice.
selling that one, guys.
I know.
Yeah.
Leave it to Sony. If it had just gone 4/9, which wouldn't interfere with any religious holidays and be blasphemous, I think I would have a lot more.
Blasphemous in quite a few areas.
Yeah, I think I would have a lot more dates for them. This is going to be a tough sell in a lot of places. This week, I mean, then the following week, not a problem.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it'll bump up in sales
Now-
next week.
We should say that there's, I think, a chance that LA and California are opening up next week.
Yeah.
So if you do really want this date, get it in now, because a lot of those prints for other films are being held back to accommodate the new influx in the California bookings. So just keep that in mind when you're plotting out the next couple weeks. Okay, In the Earth from Neon moved from June 18th, 2021 to April 30th. So we had a move up, people. A move up. I mean, things are happening.
A big move
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
A month and a half move
Crazy.
up.
New Order, also by Neon, moved from May 28th to May 21st. So again, just some movement up, some reshuffling of the release schedule.
Not as big, but still a big deal.
Yeah. Wrath of Man from United Artists is finally dated for April 23rd. So we have a new film United Artists is stepping out there with a new movie, April 23rd, which is great because we really need some April content.
We have 3 that moved into April just this last week.
You know, April was looking pretty tough, and now I think there's going to be so much content in May and June and July that people are trying to get it spread out a little bit here, which is great. Great news.
Yeah, and this one stars Jason Statham. It's a Guy Ritchie action movie, so you know, it could have an audience there.
Yeah.
Maybe like whatever happened with The Gentleman, like that was off to a good start before, you know, pandemic times
Before
hit.
pandemic, yeah.
I've
But
seen
it's
a couple of good reviews, and we have we had any like really?
I think it's a comedy too.
I know.
Kinda.
Well, all of Guy Ritchie movies have
an element of humor to them,
humor
but it's like
as well.
humor action.
Yeah, but have we had like a straight up comedy yet? I don't think we've had anything that wasn't like for families, like a.
Well, this one's not for families.
No, that's what I mean. We haven't had any, like War with Grandpa was obviously a comedy, but
Yeah.
we haven't had anything that really fit in this space.
Yeah, that's for adults. That's action-y and stuff. I think Nobody will be the closest thing we have to this. So I think you play
point.
Nobody into Wrath of
Right.
Man, and you're really getting that adult audience.
Yeah.
And then Samaritan from Sony was June 4th. It's now on set, which we didn't really have anything on that, so that I'm okay with that because enough product has moved up. I feel like it offsets that one.
That's also an error in the notes. It's from United Artists, not Sony.
Oh,
I just got that.
oh,
That was my bad. That's on me.
United Art. Thank you, Kyle.
I'll turn red again.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Out of
for taking
embarrassment.
I just read what's on the page.
Right.
Like I'm to blame here too. People.
I gotta make sure someone else is reading the page when I'm making these, at least.
Yeah. We usually go through this before, but we're kind of crunched for time today, so their mistakes can happen. We are not this sloppy usually.
Do better, Kyle.
Yeah, do better, Kyle. So, as far as booking strategies, I've got to kind of relook at the landscape now. There's been so much movement that I am plotting out, you know, what the next 30 days. I'm going beyond the 2 weeks, which is very exciting. It was suffocating only looking at 2 weeks and seeing what I could do. I like looking down the schedule and looking ahead. I like building it up from there. So this is nice. I am going to keep moving forward with it, and you know, hold Raya, hold Tom and Jerry as long as I can. That Tom and Jerry's got a great term on it, and I think it actually allows the theaters to have some space to make some money off a ticket sale, which is great. So we're gonna be supporting that as long as we can. Godzilla has a great term, so I'm really looking forward to Godzilla opening up at the end of the month.
Yeah, no, we have enough programming to get us to May 7th.
Yep.
With these other titles moving in, we have enough to get us there. This isn't the desert that February was. There's enough there to
or
at least.
the desert it was last week. I mean, there's been so much movement just within the week that it just looks so much better than it did before. I'm very excited.
Yeah, but we're finally not killing off the momentum we have.
No.
Like we finally have like 3 releases in a row and then nothing.
Yeah.
Like we had been doing in September and December, and it was like, we can't do this again. We can't spin our wheels again.
No.
Yeah.
This is gaining. We're adding stuff. It's not a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's not what we're used to. I don't think we'll ever go back to what we're used to. So this being our new normal is just great right now. We're getting something that will work a little bit each week.
Yeah, it's just a sign of a new normal, but I think it will be a good normal at the same time. Like it's definitely going to change, but I don't think it's going to be a drastically big change to where it should be too concerning for theaters.
So this kind of brings it up in some of my booking strategies. I briefly mentioned terms. You know, Warner's has had some pretty decent terms. They're really working with the theaters as best they can about when they go day and date on a film. They don't give it such high terms, and Disney didn't do that with Raya. You got the same normal scale that you always got, and because of that, some chains decided not to play Raya. Now, we didn't really know this going into last week, and so we were really surprised, like everybody else, come Monday when Raya didn't gross nationally what Tom and Jerry debuted the week before.
Yeah, no
like
kidding.
that was really surprising for us, but it makes sense if, you know, Cinemark and Harkins and stuff don't play Raya, you're not going to get the grosses in there. So, and you know, they gave the reason they didn't play is because they were upset over terms. And I think I read somewhere in a Deadline article about some profit sharing stuff that was not happening that Warner's is doing. But regardless of that, I think terms are a big deal right now. I think that is one of the areas that moving forward is going to cause a lot of friction with the studios, because you can't have a day and date product and terms pre-COVID that you were getting before. It just is. They don't gross enough. They don't justify it. You're not spending the marketing dollars solely for the theaters like you were before, which was part of the justification for that high term.
Right.
You're spending marketing dollars now to promote your own thing. And so I think that what we can do as independent operators and as buyers is support the studios that are giving us discounted terms right now, because the grosses are lean still. And while we're selling out on limited capacity screenings, I just don't see them having like the grossing potential that we had pre-COVID. So it is nice to have that help in that regard. And like you said, leave some meat on the bone for the ticket prices for the theaters. So I'm really looking at Tom and Jerry to hold up. And we saw this week as well, come Monday morning, there were some Raya grosses, just not nationally, just on our circuit level, where they did not perform as high as Tom and Jerry did the week before. And we kind of thought maybe Monday morning that people had, overspent, and there wasn't the need as much this week because they had just gotten Tom and Jerry. They're maybe holding out for spring breaks. But I think Disney Plus had an effect in there. I don't think we can discount that at all. And with Disney Plus hitting, I think it's 100 million subscribers now, you're looking, that is going to have an effect, regardless if it had the $30 additional fee or not. And I think we saw that a little bit in the potential of the grosses, that they could have been not a lot higher. I think they were still very decent, very good. I'm not complaining about that. But I felt like a little was skimmed off the top in a weird way.
Yeah, no, all the theaters paid a tax to Disney Plus on this one.
Yeah, I really feel like that's the case.
It's just figuring out what the new normal looks like. And we're not anywhere close to it yet.
No.
I mean, it'll be, if everything on the schedule stays where it is, by 4th of July.
Be next year.
By the 4th of July, we may see like what it looks like. I mean, we'll have May, June, into July. We may see, and we've got big movies on the schedule.
Right.
So we may see what the new normal is going to look like. I feel
like even in July, most places might still have limited capacities. I don't think we're ever going to be at full capacity till maybe Christmas, maybe next year. And if we get a surge, I don't think anybody will ever really shut down again, but the capacity issue might come into effect. So we might be very limited on that front.
You're a surge.
Sorry.
Talk like that.
I'm sorry.
We just got through 12 months of this. Stay positive.
I am staying positive. I'm being realistic, though. There's African variants, South American variants. They're coming at us from all angles. We got to get everybody vaccinated.
You're a surge.
And we will.
We will.
I think like that's the worst possibility that could happen, is maybe capacity's lower.
Right. I don't think it'll be full closures.
But even still, like, vaccines are coming out in droves and more people are going to be able to get it. So there's still a lot to be hopeful for when it comes to that side of things.
Yeah, exactly. But, we did see a thing. So the big question is, we did see an effect of Disney Plus on Raya. The big question is, what are they going to do with Black Widow? Right now, it's still on the release schedule for May 7th. It's going to kick off that kind of May corridor, the beginning of summer. Lead up into Memorial Weekend. What are we going to see? I'm pretty sure we're going to see another Disney Plus day and date on that one.
Yeah. How could you not?
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I don't know if they'll do that with the rest of their Marvel.
Now the question is,
movies,
like, Free Guy. What are they gonna? Is
Free
that gonna
Guy
be
an interesting one?
Yeah, because does that fit the Disney Plus? Does that fit a day and date model? Does that one go? I can see Black Widow easily going Disney Plus day and date.
And Cruella too.
And Cruella
the
totally fits
Disney
that.
Plus movies.
Yeah. But does Free Guy fit that? That'll be kind of interesting. That might be more of a hint of where things are going down the road.
Yeah, right now I don't see it fitting the North American branding of Disney Plus.
Right.
You know, I don't see it filling in with their content and what they're trying to go for. So maybe that one could be a theatrical release, although I wouldn't be shocked if they pushed it back a few more months just because May's already so crowded with their two other movies.
It's a Fox Films holdover.
Yeah, but it's going to be a big one.
But it's going to be big.
Yeah.
It still could fit the Disney Plus. I think it's going to be a PG-13 film. It's not going to be an R.
Yeah, but I think with the humor and
like, do you think it's on
Fox
Mandalorian level mature?
But that's a bit different though, because Star Wars still aims more towards kids, even if it does have its mature moments, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Free Guy could be in the one where I'm kind of being a bit too hopeful, but maybe it could be the one where we
get a theater exclusive.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I wouldn't be too surprised if they went down that route, just because of the movie maybe not fitting in with their branding of Disney Plus.
And maybe they'll move Disney Plus branding away from such small child centric, you know, and to being that all inclusive, more like Netflix.
I mean, they could. I mean, right now they're in other countries, they're adding in more adult content and
under a different kind of umbrella.
Yeah, it's under a different umbrella, but still on Disney Plus at the same time. I wonder if that's the test, and they're still trying to see how that's
it works
working.
Other places. Yeah.
Yeah, but as of now, I'm gonna think that it could be strictly theatrical.
Turn the plus on its side, make it Disney X, adults only.
At nighttime, like at certain times.
When the kids are in bed and the parents are all alone. Time to flip on Disney X for Free Guy.
And then it's a bunch of PG-13 movies because it's still Disney.
Our kids talk this same way. Like, we could have had them watch this.
Or it's R-rated films, like bleeped out and edited for television.
Right.
Yeah.
These mother truckers.
So I don't know what they're planning on, but it wouldn't shock me if they did make that one like theatrical only. But I'm kind of being hopeful too. So.
Yeah. I really wish we would see Disney go with a 3-week exclusive or more, you know, it was exclusive window and then day and dating it.
It could, yeah.
I think I would really like to see that. Unfortunately, the Universal model, I'd like them to see.
Or even Paramount's new model, 45 days.
Yeah.
Which, that wouldn't be too bad.
No, that wouldn't be bad because Disney isn't going to have that many films for theaters moving forward. And they are all big enough that even 30-day exclusive window, it would be great. They'd be out of there by then.
Right.
There's just no white knight here because Paramount is doing the best as far as the model goes, but they haven't released any movies.
No.
So it's like, hey, we've got this great thing going. 45 days. It's like, yeah, give us any film to put on screen, guys.
Well, they moved up Quiet Place, so they're somehow going from obscurity to being like kind of number one in my book right now.
We got a while. We'll see how it goes.
They still have a streaming site, but they're giving us a window. Yeah, who's now not being positive?
Yeah,
Ken?
Where is this coming from, Ken?
Where's this negative Nelliness coming from?
You were talking about the virus and theater closures. I'm talking about film companies moving things, which is like gravity now. It just exists and it's around us.
What?
There's nothing
moved a movie back? What?
Yeah. If anybody is ever shocked, if anybody is ever shocked that a movie changes its release date, they were born in 2022.
Right.
I was born after the war.
They won't understand the hard times that we had to go through.
Yeah. It's been hard times.
Anybody born after COVID, will they be called, like, instead of boomers, will they be called flumers?
Flumers?
Yeah.
I was thinking like COVID babies or something.
I was going to say like a quarantiners.
Yeah, they could be teeners.
That's a good one. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Teeners.
I like that one.
I don't know.
Sounds like Codi had her quarantine early.
This is so off topic, but they're not seeing the baby boom that they would have expected from being in the shutdown time. I think people were too stressed out and too drinky drinks to do it.
Everybody was stuck with their wives.
Yeah. For an extended period of time.
Yeah.
If it was a short shutdown, we would see more.
Yeah.
It was too much of a quarantine. They couldn't handle it after a while.
We're not seeing the baby boom. Okay.
Not to that degree, no.
But you know what is a boom, guys? Senate and the House passed an amendment on this last COVID relief bill.
Oh.
And we got more money for SVOG.
Yeah?
So
That's
the
awesome.
Shuttered Venues grant got an additional $1 billion, which sounds like a lot of money, but I think it's going to go very quickly. So update on Shuttered Venues. They're thinking April sometime. That's their goal right now for applications for Shuttered Venues. The great news so far is that like I alluded to, there's additional money passed in this last stimulus bill that hopefully Biden will be signing any day now. And they also are allowing you to apply for PPP. And then if you get PPP, deduct it from your SVOG. Now, NATO is cautioning people from running out and applying for PPP, even though the deadline is the 31st. There's two reasons. They're hoping that the next legislation passed by Congress will be an extension of the PPP deadline because the 31st is coming up quick. Banks are getting overwhelmed with second draw requests, and they might not get processed. The people that have already turned them in might not get processed in time. The second thing is, and I can attest to this, is that when you do apply for second round PPP, there is literally a question that says you attest that you will not apply for Shuttered Venues operators grant, and you have to initial that saying you won't apply. So before this this new stimulus law was enacted, that was the case. Merely applying for PPP kept you out of Shuttered Venues until your application was accepted or declined. If it was accepted, it still kept you out. So now that's been changed. You can do PPP and Shuttered Venues, but they don't know when this is going to be, when the law is going to be enacted, if it's retroactive to the people that have already applied for PPP. So they don't have any idea how that's going to affect that application process. If SBA is going to have you fill out a new application, a different application. I just can't imagine though.
No more.
Yeah. I can't imagine though that SBA is going to update the second round of PPP applications just for theater owners to not have to sign that SVOG part at the bottom.
I can.
I gotta be honest. It wouldn't shock me either. And then how do we make this more complicated?
Yeah. So hold off is what NATO's advice is. If you can, for a couple weeks or until at some whatever point is we have a little bit more information on that. But the good news is you can have PPP and then SVOG, and SVOG will hopefully happen in April.
Good. So that
I wouldn't hold your breath
that way.
In April 2022.
Yeah.
Whenever it happens, it'll happen.
Whenever it happens, it'll happen. We'll all be excited for it. But that's the latest development with the SVOG and PPP. So very excited. More money. It's going to happen, people, one of these days.
Remember to fill out all your applications with 9 dependents and foreign national status.
No, stop it. Don't do that. That will automatically get you disqualified.
Don't listen to Ken.
Don't listen to Ken. Just, make sure you have that sam.gov registration. Make sure you have your NAICS code and your Duns and Bradstreet number, and just have all your ducks in a row. Also, SBA has issued some guidance on some of the documentation you might need for this. Floor plans, 2019 and 2020 tax returns, contracts, that sort of thing. So check that out. I'm not sure if it's on the SVOG site, but we'll get a checklist up on SSI on the announcements section in the next couple days after we have some more guidance on what you actually need on that, and see if that changes at all. But we'll have a checklist for you as well.
Yep. Hopefully that happens soon, and just keep an eye out.
So let's talk movies, guys. Now that we talked all the boring money talk.
Laws and contracts and deadlines.
How was your Lawn Weekend screener? Tell me about this movie.
Who wants to go first? Kent, you want to go first?
Because there was a really glowing review in Hollywood Reporter about this.
Because they must have saw a different movie than what Ken and I saw.
Yeah, it was tough. I don't know what kind of movie we actually saw.
Now, let's be fair. This movie is probably, you're not the targeted
Correct.
demographic for this.
Sure.
2 young guys sitting there together.
On the couch.
On the couch watching the screener is probably not the experience the filmmakers were going for.
If you have the ability to and you have an office, put a couch in your office. It's the best thing you can do.
It changes everything.
I don't know what it changes, but I just like looking at it, knowing that it's there.
You're like, that's my couch in my office.
I mean, rent to own if you have to, but get a couch in your office.
A big one.
Get one by a dumpster.
There's free ones all over the
We
place.
got one out of the in-laws' basement.
Yeah. Yep.
Not by a dumpster.
No. In
All
the
right.
basement.
All right, so
Okay.
we do have to talk
Back
about
to a
this movie.
dumpster fire.
So, okay, look, first 20 minutes, like you said, Cody, this isn't the type of movie for Ken or I, so even the first 20 minutes, like, we're not into this at all, but it did have the foundations to at least be a decent romantic dramedy, you know, has some dark comedy involved with it, but it had the makings of being like a decent romance movie that could be a good date night. But for whatever reason, they involve a twist within the first third of the movie that doesn't feel earned or warranted, or doesn't. They think that it involves the story in a cool way and in a way that makes sense, but it really just takes away from the core identity of the movie, and it just goes on a downhill spiral and falls flat. And like it just, and beyond, and once that twist happens, like it really is just going to depend on if an audience member is for it or not. For me, and especially for Ken as well, like we can attest that it just doesn't work and it doesn't make sense, and it just makes the movie much more
Convoluted.
and much more of a mess when from a script that already wasn't that great to begin with. So it just made it more messy than it needed to, and it really doesn't. They think it adds more to the characters and to the story, but it really doesn't. So it just, for whatever reason, that's added in and just doesn't feel like it meshes with the story, and it's just it ends up being not very good.
Who's the audience for this then?
It's confusing because it's like it's R-rated, but it is for like a
Is it pretty
teenage
tame?
young adult audience, so it's like a weird mix of, you know, these two groups, but one of those groups can't go to these movies, not yet anyway. So I don't know, maybe like in my age group, like 18, what is it for R-rated movies, 17 and up, like
Yeah.
maybe that in 20s, like late 20s maybe, but even still, like at late 20s they're probably like over it, you know.
What do you think, Ken?
So it's like if Twilight and Pacific Rim had a baby, but there were no special effects.
What?
Yeah, exactly. What?
Did
What? It's a romantic movie, and all of a sudden there's giant robots. You know, you're like, what?
why is this involved? What is
It's a movie without a compass. It just
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, it's unfortunate because we want to be able to support these things, and it definitely has an audience, but it's going to be a short played movie. I mean, Sony had Monster Hunter, and we still have places where it's on screen.
Monster Hunter's been great.
We
Yeah.
still have
It's
places
theater
where it plays.
exclusive. We're still holding it. Still does awesome business. Like, it just, if you have it at 1 or 2 showtimes, it's still doing enough.
Yeah,
at that
but it
time
had
to
that
keep
kernel
it there.
that it could work
Yeah.
and stay and do this. This one doesn't. It's just so rough.
Is it like quirky? Like, would it?
You
No.
wish it was
Independent
quirky.
people?
No,
It's
I mean,
not authentically quirky.
Damon Wayans Jr. is in it, and
Yeah.
he absolutely steals the show for the 7 minutes he's on screen.
Yeah.
He's
He
so
is
good.
incredible.
It's worth the 7 minutes.
No,
Actually, no, it's not.
That's not worth
but
the 7 minutes.
that was
but
the wrong way to word
If
it.
you took
It's great 7
him,
minutes.
like he has a young family and a wife, and that story is the most compelling story in the entire film.
Yeah.
Like by far.
Yeah.
It looks like I don't even know how to. I mean, that 7 minutes makes the movie worth watching if there's any storyline that ties Damon Wayans Jr. to the actual storyline, other than him going, I don't know.
And like the main actors are fine. Like I think they have enough chemistry, and you can tell like they're, you know, thinking like they're doing it. Well, I mean, they are doing a good job, and they think like they're in a better movie than they are. But even still, like it's kind of like what Ken was saying. Like it doesn't. It's a movie without a compass when it initially did, and then they lost the compass.
Well, Hollywood Reporter gave it a glowing review. So
I mean, if they like it, that's good. I don't see it.
maybe they had a quarantini before they saw it. And
I wish we had those then.
I know we got to get that mini fridge in his office too. Our screening room / Ken's office.
Yeah, I think I'm going to move the couch up on the wall 3 feet so I have stadium seating.
And then add another couch.
I haven't decided yet.
Or are you
I think
gonna go-
I just want
are you
a
gonna
bunk
go
bed with just a top bunk.
I was going to say, are you going
Like
to go
a
Lego
loft?
double-decker couch?
Like a loft. Yeah. Like it's my dorm room.
Yeah.
Guys, check out my pad.
Pictures of Carmen Electra on the walls.
Wow, you went that far back, huh?
We're going way back.
We're going way back.
Is this the man cave that you've always wanted?
No.
Is that what's about to happen?
Yes, I'm going to start burning incense and closing the
Right.
door all the time.
He's so moody.
I'm in a meeting.
Got one of those candles that's shaped like a mushroom. It melts in different colors.
So yeah, theaters, good luck playing this one, but
Yeah.
it might be
Well,
it might be
at
tough.
least it's something, though. And it's
Sure,
theater
yeah.
exclusive, and
that's
and
what matters.
that's what really matters right now.
Yeah. Nope.
Got a little higher terms than what we would like, but you're paying for that exclusivity.
Yeah. And the lowered print count.
Yeah. Speaking of Sony and maybe an unfortunate decision
Oh,
with Unholy, how did you like the trailer, guys?
I actually didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't think it was bad either. I just think it's just so poorly timed that
I get what they were going for. I think they were trying to find like the counter Good Friday audience.
but do you need to do that?
No.
Like not
You
every
don't.
weekend needs counter programming. Maybe not the Holy Weekend.
I mean, it's good to have counter programming for another title that's different, but it's not good to counter
Right.
program an audience when that's the only thing that's coming out on that weekend,
Yeah.
you know? So
I totally
that's
agree
not
with you,
the-
Kyle. That's such a good way to put it.
that's not the wisest move, but you know, for the type of jump scare horror movie that this is probably going to be, trailer wasn't bad.
No, it looked accessible. I just really wish it was going 4:9.
Yeah.
So I don't have to have awkward conversations with everybody like, okay, warning, yeah, this might not be appropriate to play this weekend.
Imagine watching this and then having Good Friday supper and being like, "So, what'd you guys think of that movie?" That
Let's wrap this up so we can get to the theater.
Yeah. There's a great religious movie that's in
Yeah.
theaters.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
gonna be a little rough.
Yeah, it is. But like you said, it's theatrical only. It could have an audience, but it's probably not the
It
best time.
is a new movie that weekend. We do have Godzilla coming out on March 31st, so it is competing against that. And we have Nobody on the 26th.
Then we have the little known Girl Who Believed in Miracles from Atlas. That's a
Yeah.
faith-based film for 2.
Ah,
So we
counter
do have
programming.
something.
We do. And
have something in
they're expanding Lamb of God from Purdy Distribution. So
Yeah.
you can get that for that weekend as well. So I guess
There's
there's a
something for
buffet of options.
There's something for everyone.
So I guess
Yeah.
we convinced ourselves that the Unholy is counter programming.
It is counter programming to the events in the world that week.
just like
Right.
just like Judas and the Black Messiah was counter programming.
Right.
Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
But I thought the trailer looked. I mean, the quality in the trailer for the horror did look good. It looked
Yeah.
appealing. It wasn't. It did. I wasn't put off by anything I saw there.
Yeah, exactly. It's doable. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Just have that uncomfortable conversation before going into it. I just want everybody to know what they're booking when I book this. That's my biggest concern. I just don't want to get an angry phone call like, "Why did you make me play that?"
This is a religious-based horror movie.
Yeah.
This is the Nun,
Yeah.
except at Easter.
If your audience is, the Good Friday audiences that are probably going to church over a movie theater, maybe don't play this one. I don't know.
Right.
That's just a guess, though.
This would be a mountain don't.
Don't. Mountain Pass.
Brought to you by Mountain Dew. One day.
Well, we got anything else, guys?
No, I
That's
think.
kind of the big news, kind of it for us.
Yeah.
So,
Let's get the flock out of here.
yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening to this episode of the Off the Break podcast. You can find us on all podcast platforms and at silverscreeninsider.com and Silver Screen Insider's YouTube page. Make sure to subscribe to us there. And if you're a theater owner or manager needing updated movie information or just marketing assets for upcoming movies, please check us out at that website because we have everything that you might need for all these new movies coming out.
And if you're a Sony fan, we're not doing this just to you. Everyone else is going to drop a bomb later this summer, and we'll let you know. You just had a bad week.
That's true. We are going to be very fair with everybody. We are not picking on one film company.
Oh, no, we pick on all of them.
We
with
do.
love.
With love.
Go back to April of last year and listen to what we said about Universal.
Yeah. Or United Artists a couple weeks ago.
That's true.
Or Jordan Peele every other podcast.
Yeah, whenever I can get it in.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Okay.